YouTube tarot reader, Lisa Lee, has been found using bad language during her twice-weekly live streams. In a shocking turn of events, it has also been discovered that she will not tell you what you want to hear, only what you need to know. The internet is in collective shock that authenticity is alive and well in this corner of the YouTube meta space. Do not watch if you are easily offended.
Are you a fan of 80s horror but want something different? Do you like modern horror but the regular magazines leave you a bit cold? Are you a fan of that schlocky horror that no one else seems to talk about? Check out Necronomicon, the UK horror zine from Etsy.com. Just search for Necroneil. Blue Chalice is a small business making crafty creations for the Witcher community. From jewellery to wall hangings, witch bells to altar tiles. Why not have a look at bluechalice.etsy.com. Yes, indeed. Good evening, everybody. Hopefully you can all hear me well. Good evening, everybody. I hope you're all doing fantastically well. We're going to start the questions. Anne has sent a super sticker. Anne, my darling, I will pop that directly in the list. You'll be the first cab off the rank today. Lady V, did you not get your email, my darling? We've just done the members chat over on the other channel. I sent you an email out. Should have sent an email out from the Coffee Club crew. So yes, and your name has been added to the ticker tape. Hang on. This one here is coming up in a little bit. So your name's been added to the list, but I haven't had a chance to do the video yet. So I need to redo the video this week before probably, there you go, look, Lady V, probably before Tuesday, to be fair. So yes, right. Good evening, everybody. So we are... hello, Tracy. Hello, my darling. Hello to Tracy Wallace. Hello to Anne Says. Hello, Holland. Hello to Lady V. Hello to Ed. Ed's nipping off to a mate tonight. Have fun. Hello to, I've got to say hello to Holland again. Hello to Renata. And we've got that said. Hello to everybody that is in on the chat. Don't forget, if you are here for a tarot reading, we're going to open that list very shortly. You you can hear me just about, but it's not because of a microphone issue. It's because you've got a cat lying across your neck. Okay. It's a challenge watching. I bet it is, my darling. I bet it is. Right, let me just shove a couple of makeup bits off the table because I did my face earlier. I did. Not that you can really tell. I know, right? Also, let me just shift this ever so slightly to there. There we go. And I'm going to try angling the microphone. Why does that look so manky? Is it just the angle? It's just the angle. I'm going to try moving the microphone to here today because I've got a theory. It could be witches, some evil witches, which is ridiculous because, well, I can't remember what the quote is, but it's from Buffy. Anyway, yeah, all of that. Good evening to Judy. I might be able to remove the cat. I might be able to. That's me doing a cat impression so that Renata's cat jumps off her neck. Yeah, that's a clip. Thank you. You're right, love. Yeah. Rufus is just going to make me a coffee. Thank you. Love you. The important question, Renata, is the cat yours? What type? What's their name? Yes, all of that. So we're just going to have a long conversation. How it could be bunnies. Bunnies. Yeah, all of that. They've got those huffy legs and twitching little noses. And what's with all the carrots? What do they need such good eyesight for anyway? See, I got nervous then, Ed. I held it back. Bunnies, it must be bunnies. Or maybe midgets. which is ridiculous because that's and all the rest of it. So Buffy the Vampire Slayer, the musical episode, that's where that comes from. Once More with Feeling. I haven't quite got to that yet in my rewatch of Buffy. I tell you what, everybody, would you all be interested in a video where I literally look at the magic, the witchcraft elements from Buffy the Vampire Slayer and what they got right and what they got very wrong? So if you want to see that, let me know, because while I'm rewatching it, it's been really interesting because I'm like, that's good, that's not so good. A bit like Necroneil in the chat. Yeah, Necroneil in the chat. Now listen, right? Neil has been my friend for 20 years plus, right? We've known each other a long time. Neil has been with me through thick and thin, through major changes in my life, and Neil knows me really, really well. So when they announced that they were going to do a requel, sequel, follow-on, reboot, whatever it was, of one of my favorite films, which is The Craft, he knows just how little I would like to watch that, because I love The Craft film. The first film is amazing. Love it, love it, love it. Say what you want about how it goes and how the witchcraft plays out in it. I think it is an amazing film. Absolutely friggin' love it. Love it, love it, love it. So what did I watch this week? Or last week? The Craft 2 for a video that's coming up. So yeah, we're going to do a video together talking about that. But it was fine, because after I watched it, and I've got 3 pages of A4 pages of notes. After I watched it, I did then go and watch some more Buffy, and it was fun. Yes, Buffy is the cleansing oil, the balm that you need for cleansing. Good evening, Ultra Ego Wisdom. Good evening to Flower Beauty. Connie Cat will demand and insist to be let out. Absolutely. You'd watch that. Thank you. You'd watch that. Okay. It's something I'm definitely going to look at. You're here. Sorry you're late, everyone. No worries, my darling. Thank you for popping in. Thank you for popping in. Oh, did she? Hearthwitch did that. I don't know. I don't tend to watch any other witchy channels, purely and simply because I don't want anyone to say, you nicked this idea from so-and-so. Because I just don't watch a lot of witchy channels anymore. So yeah, that is the reason. Right then. So I do have one other quick thing to play just before we start with some tarot readings. Okay, so if you would like a tarot reading, I'm going to start those very, very, very soon. And how you get a reading on this channel is dead simple. You can do it one of 2 ways. You can send a super chat. That will automatically get your reading. Just include your reading in the super chat and says I've got yours as part of the super sticker, so that's fine. Or if you don't want to send that and you want to throw your hat in the ring, name in the hat, fish in the bowl, whatever it is. Yeah, if you want to throw your fish in the bowl, that's going to be a thing. If you want to throw your fish in the bowl to get a free reading, then we'll do that later. You need to put it into the live chat. But we are getting very close to Halloween. In fact, I can tell you how many days. We're 9 days away now. 9 days away from Halloween. Oh, thank you, Rufus. Yeah. Our poor dog's already having a meltdown because of the fireworks that people are doing in advance. She's an autistic doggy. She's a special needs doggy. Yeah. So what I've got, hang on, let me make sure it's the right one. Here we go. So then, as I was just saying, I've got a little announcement, and this is about the giveaway that is coming up in Spooktober. Halloween night, we've got a giveaway on this channel. It's the biggest giveaway this channel's ever done. And yeah, here are the details. Hi, I'm Lisa from Beyond Authentic Witchcraft. Make sure you join my Spooktober special live stream on the 31st of October at 7 p.m. UK time. As well as doing my usual accurate and authentic card readings, I'm also going to be doing a rather spectacular giveaway. So if you would like to be in with a chance of getting some very special treats, make sure you hit the subscribe button and ding your bell so that YouTube notifies you when I go live. Until then, stay you, stay true, stay authentic, and I'll see you on Halloween night. Ha ha! Yes, indeed. Halloween night giveaways. Make sure you come back for that. It's going to be amazeballs. Oh, I just said amazeballs without irony. Irony? You know, like an iPhone. Irony. It's what the two Ronnies are. Now is there only one of them? Is Ronnie Corbett still around? I don't know. Anyway, let's open up a tarot round. So then, if you would like a tarot reading, how do you go about it? Well, first of all, you can put your details down in the comment section, starting with the word question. You can also go ahead and send it via a super chat. That is probably, well, that is your best bet if you want to guarantee your reading is up next. Oh, no, sorry, wait, pause. Thank you. I've got super chats in. Thank you, Holland. I've got super chats in. Thank you. I'm going to open that in a second. Sorry, I've just seen them come up on my system. Yep, I've got it. Thank you. Thank you, Holland. Right. Thank you, my friend. So before we go any further, I've got Anne says yours was up first. Question: will O and I speak again before the end of the year? He is an old friend who was once romantically interested. Feels like unfinished business. Right, let's have a look at that for you, my darling. Don't forget then, we'll come on to free rounds after the super chats. If you want to get another, if you want to get yours up after Tracy, then you can go ahead and send a super chat and we'll just keep reading through those until we're done with all of them. And then we will open up a free round. Right then, so hang on. I need to change the camera. There we are. Don't forget, everybody, before we go any further, tarot is for entertainment purposes only. You do make all of your own decisions. That's a bit wibbly, isn't it? You make all your own decisions about your own life. Tarot should never be used to replace medical advice, legal advice, financial advice, or counseling advice. If you are looking for support in those areas, please do seek out a professional in those areas. Okay, right then, so let's have a little look. In fact, Wispy, we would need to clear the space and then we're going to bring in the dragon. So we're going to bring in Wispy, our air dragon. Right then, so Anne, will O and I speak again before the end of the year? Okay, let's have a look. I've got an idea. How about we do the 6 card? Yes, in fact, thank you, Wispy. We're going to do the 6 card. Where you are. No, we'll do the 6 card past, present, future in the physical and then in the subconscious, right? Hopefully that makes sense. Right. I don't actually like the microphone where I've just put it. Although it does mean I can see the cards. Right then, Wispy. So for Anne says, will O and Anne speak again before the end of the year, Wispy? That's what we want to know. He's an old friend who was once romantically interested. Feels like there's some unfinished business. Is Anne says going to get some closure? Is there going to be, there's multiple cards, that doesn't count. Is there going to be some closure? Is there going to be a little bit more boom chikawawa? Is there going to be something, a little kissy, a little peck, a full-on horizontal tango, whatever it might be? Is there going to be some sort of reconnection in that way before the end of the year, or in any way, just any kind of conversation? Is there going to be any return? Oh, you could see the cards changing then on the drop. I love it when the cards do that. I absolutely love it. Right, let's move this out the way, and here we go. So we've got the 6 of Wands in the conscious past, the 7 of Wands, okay, in the conscious present. And if that had been the 8, I would have absolutely just like, well, I would have been surprised, but also not. So that's your conscious level. we'll pull the subconscious cards here and see. So then, is O and Anne going to speak? Now, in the past, wands for me is all about confidence and security. And I think that more than anything took a massive hit. So I don't know whether there were multiple people included or involved, whether there was whether it was like a friendship group that you were a part of, because the 6 for me is talking about like a wider community space. Now, again, this way up, thank you, Patricia. This way up, it would have been a more positive thing. So I think this reversal is related to the way that things ended. It kind of feels almost like it ended with a bit of a whimper rather than a bang, because this it's kind of sparklers. Do you know what I mean? That's what they look like. They look like sort of Halloween's, not Halloween, what's it called? Guy Fawkes night, sparklers, yeah? So they don't look like, it's not a flaming torch like we've got on this one, but they look like sparklers. It looks like it was a damp squib. It just kind of petered out. I would say, though, that there is definitely something here around somebody not feeling confident enough to make that move. So if he did have those feelings for you and he was romantically interested, I think it was his confidence that let him down. It's that sort of vibe that I'm getting with this, especially because in the present conscious, we've got the 7 of Wands reversed. So again, it's that feeling of the one that got away. If only there wasn't, you know, if only I wasn't so scared, if only I wasn't so nervous. The 7s are difficult choices and difficult decisions. And what you quite often find with the 7s is that when they come up, they show that basically it's almost like whatever choice is made it's going to be a difficult choice. There's no clear path. And also it feels like something needs to be left behind in order for the decision to be made. So in this case, we've literally got 6 of the wands here, 6 of the branches that are either damaged or destroyed. So we've got 3 that have been turned into flaming torches. This one's a pike, you know, like a fighting pike. We've got one that's just been burnt as a club, and one club that has had nails driven through it. So all of these 6 wands are in some way altered. And then the one that offers the most hope, so the one decision that would offer the most positive outcome, has also been damaged and has been repaired. So just bear that in mind. I think there is definitely a lot of, I would say, baggage, but also I think we all come with baggage. Do you know what I mean? I think every single one of us comes with baggage in our lives because we've lived a life. And I think that that's just one of those things. Like if you want a partner without any baggage, then, you know, you're going to end up with like what's it called? Like a robot straight off the factory floor, like one of those things that Samsung are making in Japan and things. That's what you're going to get, or Korea. That's what you're going to get, is a non-programmed, you know, shell. The future's interesting though, because we're back to a 6. So we're back to this element of people and community, but we're at the 6 of Pentacles. So now the decision isn't about confidence. It's about knowing how to move forward. What are the tasks involved? What's the work involved? And if there's a money connection, so if you worked with this person, or if there's any kind of financial connection, a financial reason why they might be coming back into your life, then that's looking interesting. But I think this is more about the amount of the effort or the tasks. Do you know what I mean? The things that he would have to go through in order to reestablish some sort of contact with you. So subconsciously, absolutely, the King of Wands was an issue in the past. So outwardly confident, but we've got this little red flag showing up. So I think that maybe O had been hurt and damaged in some way in the past, and that was what was affecting the confidence here, and that was what was affecting the whole kind of this whole connection between you. in wow. Okay, so in terms of the present, there is still a connection, but this is an interesting one because I think it's more on a friendship connection, and this is why it's proving difficult, because the twos are always connecting in some way. Now, I always say that they are like two people coming together, but the wands is the interesting one of the deck, because each of these elements represent a wand, okay, which is the elemental symbol for fire. Now, we've got matches in one side with one particular match and the candle in the other. Now, with this card, the only thing that you are going to get is you have to light one before the other. Does that make sense? So you light this and destroy this in order to set this one going. So that's going to be an issue. If you're trying to have a relationship, it's going to end up quite one-sided. And I think that coming up in the reversal position in the subconscious, I don't know whether he's still feeling really like insecure, or whether he's feeling like maybe he doesn't want to progress the friendship into relationship status and try and move that forward. But I think that's definitely where it's coming from. It's almost like destroying what you've got in order to take a risk and move forward with it as a relationship. And then, wow, the fear is the tower. Literally what I just said. The fear is the tower. So having the rug pulled from under you, it's almost like I think what what the emotional side of it is basically, look, we were connected. Now I'm not so sure how I feel or where I feel. And it's almost like if I leave it be, then I'm not going to get my fingers burnt. Do you know what I mean? So it's almost saying the tower is like the rug being pulled from out of you, like that, oh my God, hang on a second, the whole world has just done a 180. That is what the tower represents. So it's that element of sudden surprise and shock and everything coming down around your ears. And that is something that I think you really, really, really need to look at, because it's saying that I think that is the fear that he's got with coming back in. So the answer to your question is I don't see it happening from him. If you are interested in a romantic connection, I think you would have to be the one to make that obvious, because of this too. It's like he doesn't want to destroy the friendship to take the risk on a new relationship, even though the friendship at the moment isn't really there. Does that make sense? It's like he doesn't want to ruin the memory or that, you know, the one that got away element. And that fear is going to stop him, because ultimately, I don't think he's as confident as maybe outwardly he would appear to be. Hopefully that makes sense, my darling. Thank you ever so much for your super chat. But that is going to be your question answered for today, or your reading, I should say, for today. And hopefully, Anne says, hopefully that makes some sense. Thank you ever so much for your question. Let me have a look in the live chat and just see where we are. Hang on, Anne, I've got it. That makes sense. No problem. Let's have a look. Pink Pepper, yours is coming up after Tracy's. So Tracy's next, and then I'll get to you, Pink Pepper. Thank you ever so much for your donation. Yep, thank you. Anne says, hang on a second, let me go back to there. It ended with a thud because I didn't have the bandwidth for, I think, what he wanted. But he was never direct about what he wanted. This is it, you see. This is the problem. A lot of times, I think people get scared about taking risks, right? And it's absolutely, I understand. It's absolutely sensible not to risk everything, right? Absolutely sensible. However, risk and reward are very, very, very linked. It's almost like two sides of the same coin. And so you've got this element, like, when me and my other half got together, like, we were both very nervous, and we were both nervous about doing the whole bedroom things. And it literally took me just to go, right, I think we're at that sort of point. We're both grown adults and we're too old to be messing around like a couple of old bloody teenagers. So I literally was like, right, come upstairs. get your clothes off. I've got my clothes off. Right, this is what I'm working with. That's what you're working with. Let's just see what happens. And everything was fine. Everything was compatible. But all of those things in my head about, oh, I've got these lumpy, bumpy bits, and I've got all. If you allow all of that to stop you, then you're not going to get what you want, right? So sometimes you've got to just go, look, here's my bits. I don't like this scar. I've got a mole here, I've got a fat roll there that I don't like, but this is what I've got to play with. If you can handle this, I can handle that. Let's go for it. And sometimes you've just got to take that risk. You've got to take that jump. Otherwise, nothing happens. So I think, Anne, looking at this, if you want him back in as a potential romantic sort of connection, then I think you're going to need to be the one to make that move, because I think he's too insecure, to be brutally honest. So yeah, you spoke briefly the other day and you're wondering whether you'll speak again. I think you're going to have to be the one to go for it, my darling. You are going to have to be the one to go for it. But yes, thank you ever so much for your question. Right then. Oh, you did actually speak the other day, and that's what has sort of reconnected us briefly. Well, this is it. This is it. If you want the jiggy, if you want the hearts and flowers, if you want the, we're friends with benefits, see how it goes, if you want the let's just have an occasional date, if you want any kind of connection moving forward, I think the ball has to be in your court now. And I think you have to be the one to go, we're both a bit older, a bit wiser. Do you fancy going out for coffee? And just see what happens, see where it goes. But I don't think, looking at the cards, I don't think he's going to be the one to do that, because I think it's that thing of maybe. And I think for you, if that's what you want, just go for it. Anyway, I hope that helps, my darling. I really, really, really do. Tracy Wallace, you're up next, my darling. Come in, just say a quick hello in the live chat so I know that you are here and that you haven't gone and made a cup of tea or anything. So Tracy Wallace, can I have a love reading or whatever I need to know, please? Okie dokie, my darling. We'll do that for you now. Just come and say hello in their live chat. Don't forget, everybody, if you join our membership, no problem, man. If you join our membership, my membership thing's not on. No wonder. Hang on a second. There you go. If you join the memberships over here, you get to come and join us on a pre-live, live, right? It's the pre-live stream. Yes. So basically, an hour before we go live on this channel, we go live on a whole other hidden thing just for members. We do a members only chat, right? That members only chat is where we talk about anything and everything. Today, it was a really lovely chat, actually, because I was getting some advice from Patricia and from Renata about a couple of bits that we were talking about. And we were talking to Ed about some drinks and things and all sorts of bits and pieces. We were talking to Neil about stuff. Holland popped in. It was a really lovely live, actually, for the members. So you can always come and join us. But you also get all the videos at least a day early. Look, I'm trying to drink my coffee here. At least a day early. You didn't get notified today. Oh, Nanette, I bought you one of these mugs. I found it in George. Hang on, I tell you what have I got? Hang on a second. I need to, I'll tell you what. Oh no, hang on. I've moved all the buttons on my stream deck. I'm going to play this for 2 seconds while I take a slurp. But yes, I got you a mug. They were in George at Asda, which is a shop in the UK. So I found one and I was like, we'd queued up for some Halloween bits. Tracy Wallace, I'm calling again, my darling. If you're here, please do come and say hello. If not, I'll do your reading in absentia. I know, right? I'll do your reading without you being here, my darling, but the connection's always stronger if you're here. But at least then you'll hopefully be able to go back, and I'll try and remember to timestamp it if you're not here, my darling. So Tracy Wallace, come and say hello in the live. Come and say hello in the chat, in the comments. Yes, so Nanette, on Insta, send me your blooming, send me your address. and I will get it sent across to you, my darling. So yes, thank you for that. We'd bought some other bits and pieces in George, and it was quite funny because Rufus had queued up and we'd paid, and then I was literally walking out the shop and I was like, la la la, oh, mugs, let me have a look if it was in here, because we'd been to two of the other shops, and I was like, did it not go out as an email? Hang on a second, let me have a look. It absolutely should have done. It was set to go as an email. It was sent to go out as an email. So if it didn't, I apologize. Absolutely apologize. Yes, my darling, Pink Pepper. What I will do is I will do Tracy's as an absentia, and then yours will be in 10 minutes time. So just bear with me for that. You got an email. Thank you. Yeah, so there was an email that went out. Right. Oh, you're here, Tracy. I was literally just about to say that I would do it in absentia, but I'll do it for you now, my darling, and then we'll do Pink Pepper. I love that name, by the way, Pink Pepper. I love Pink Pepper. You just spoke to Tracy. She's here. Fantastic. Thank you. Yes, I've got her on screen. I was going to say, Patricia, is this Tracy that you know? If so, give her a quick ring or a text and tell her to get her ass back on the live stream right then. So, Tracy, my darling, let's bring Card Cam in and press the magic buttons and change the doodah. And then Wispy, my darling, Tracy Wallace would like to know a love reading if possible. If not, oh, Renata got an email as well. That's good. Right, I'm on the other screen now, so I can't see any more live messages. A love message if possible, a love reading, or whatever Tracy needs to know. Okay, so whatever the message is for Tracy, if it's a love reading, all the better. If not, then whatever the message is that Tracy needs to know. That's what we want to know, Wispy. Okay, that's flipped on the back. That's not what we do. Hang on a second. If I move my chair all the way forward, can I put the ice pack on there? I wonder. Sorry, Tracy, bear with me just 1 second, my darling. Let me just see if that move any further forward. No, it moves out, it doesn't move forward. Right, okay, right, there we go. I've scalded my arm, so I've got an ice pack that I am resting my arm on, and the problem is when I'm shuffling, I'm leaning on the side of the desk right exactly where the scald is, so that's not good. Right, I'm lifting my arms up off the desk now. I know all of these issues you get when you're a tarot reader and you use your arms in a particular way, and then you end up scolding yourself because of the blinking fibromyalgia, and your hands have been rubbish for the last week and a half. Stupidly annoying. Right, Wispy, if you want a card to flip, Wispy, you need to make it flip. It's going to be a 7-carder, a horseshoe. Last one, Wispy. One more round of shuffling. Right, I will. To be fair, that did jump out before the others, so I will take that as a modifying card. Right, okay. Okay, Wispy, you need to be a bit more direct, my friend. If you don't know what I'm talking about with Wispy, hopefully one of the mods can add it into the live chat. Wispy is one of my dragons. No, I haven't lost the plot completely. I have dragons. I have 5 dragons. They each represent a different element. Wispy is the air elemental. And if you want to know what they actually are and where they come from, then go and check out the link. It's in the podcast feed. Look for the one that says egregores, servitors, or thought. Well, you just stay there a second, Temperance. Egregores, servitors, or thought forms in the title and in the thumbnail. And then it says explaining what my dragons are, or something like that it's called. I'm sure one of our lovely mods have put a link to it in the comments, in the chat. That's the word. Right then, let's have a look. So 8 card reading. Temperance is coming up, Tracy. So Temperance is about compromise and about finding a way through, finding a solution, negotiation, all of that. Okay, Mr. Tui. Yes, you drink your water. So it's a really interesting card, and quite often it's shown as an angelic person, an angelic field. Now that angel, come on, keep going, is here, this one. Now that angel, I just clicked it. There we go. Now that angel element from the traditional card is depicted here in this one with these ethereal wings. So it's not saying this person is actually an angel or you've got to be an angel. It's talking about maybe finding a compromise, finding a middle way through, a little bit of a middle ground, if that makes sense. Now, whether this is with love life or whether this is in general, I don't know, but I'm going to come to the reading because I do think there's a really interesting card here in the 10 of Cups. But yeah, so being prepared to make some compromises, being prepared to maybe not get everything you want, but to still be happy with what you get, if that makes sense. Right, let me move this to one side and let's look at the cards. So interestingly, in the past, you've got the King of Cups, but it's reversed. Now, Cups is your emotional suit, okay? So it's talking about love, friendship, feelings, all of that good stuff. And it's reversed. So it's basically saying, and the King of Cups is a bit of a player anyway, right? You can see, look. He's got his socks. No, he's got his shoes off. He hasn't got his socks off. Or has he? No. I had to stop and look then for a second. He's got his shoes off, right? He's taken off the crown and he's put it to the side of the bed. He's got a drink. Now, this isn't technically the bed. This is one of those things. Is it called a love seat that sits in the corner of the bedroom? And you get the 2 people on. It's only got enough space for 2 people's backsides. And then you move from the love seat to the love bed or whatever. But this is reversed, which means I think the romantic connection you've had in the most recent past was a player, basically. And I think you probably did you wrong, because that's the sort of vibe that the king gives out, especially when he's reversed. When he's upright, he's an experienced Don Juan type. Like, look at me, look how I'm a Lothario, I'm ever so loving, and look at me, I'll rock your world, and then, disappear into the night full of mystery. When he's upright, he's just a player. He's just someone that did you dirty, if that makes sense. In the present, the energy we've got around you right now is the Knight of Wands. So Wands is that confidence energy. But the thing about the Knights, right? Yes, they can be really overconfident. And this is my journey with the Knights is a really interesting one, because after 28 years, it's starting to shift a little bit, especially with this deck, because yes, the Knight's a teenage energy. So it's that rebellious, sod it, I'm going to do it anyway energy. You can't tell me what to do. You're not my mother. Yes, I am. All of that, right? That's all the energy that the Knights give. However, they also have this element of insecurity. They have this element of being so young to the world and so naive that they are still grappling with who they are in the adult world. And so where the pages are just naive and innocent and playing games, the Knights sometimes get themselves in over their head. And so I think whatever's going on with you at the moment, confidence wise, it feels like there's a real sort of, what you're doing. I don't know how old you are, but it feels like, whether you're in your 30s or whatever, you got to that point where, everything's going nicely, everything's going well, you kind of know yourself a bit, but there's still this element of insecurity creeping in. And whilst I think, it could be a good thing that sometimes you're a little bit impulsive, at other times it kind of goes against you, if that makes sense, because of this Knight energy. Now, the influence, we got the Four of Wands. And so this is talking about stability and maybe wanting more of a stable love life, home life, something like that, because wands is security. Now, I often relate it back to confidence and things like that, type of mental security, but there is also this element of bricks and mortar security, so your home. And so the Four of Wands is, I think you are influenced. Maybe you don't live in one of those Homes and Country Gardens magazine type houses, right? But that's kind of like the ideal for you. Whether or not you can manifest that or not, I know that with all of my various neurospiciness, there's no way in hell I could ever manifest that. But for me, there's still a little part of me that kind of wants the sweeping staircase and, you know, the super clean showroom type floors and clean spaces and clean lines. I'm never going to have it, because there's another part of me that wants the country core, you know, old tumble down country cottage look. And I think this is that influence for you. You want this stability, probably more than you realize, and it's that influence. But whether or not it's something that's going to be real or not, I don't know, because the 10 of Cups is coming up in your obstacle position. Now, it's come up reversed. Now, the thing about the 10 of Cups, I often say that the 9 is at its peak and the 10 is at overflow. So literally, we've got the overflow here with the 10 of Cups. And you can see that everything is pouring everywhere. There's a lot of emotion here. Anytime you see water in a deck or water in a card, it's emotions. And you can see the emotions are overflowing. So I think that as much as this influence is coming in, and as much as this is you wanting and craving this kind of stable life, I think it's also a big challenge to have that that emotional stability and that emotional resilience, if you like. And I think it's something that maybe is a little bit difficult, because I know for myself, I'm very emotional. I wear my heart on the sleeve all the time. And the problem when you wear your heart on the sleeve, it's a very obvious target. And yeah, again, with Temperance coming up as the clarifier, I think that's just reminding us that actually this compromise element might be something that you struggle with a little bit in terms of the emotional connections. Now, the way other people see you, we've got another major arcana card. We've got the Fool. Now, this doesn't mean, okay, that people see you as a fool. The Fool is the start of the tarot journey. It's the 0 card. And there's a reason why it's the 0 card, because the Fool is neither positive or negative. It's 0. It's completely fresh, completely new slate. Okay. So I think people see you as being capable or needing to start over, start completely over, and almost coming at it completely anew, if that makes sense. Now, it may well be, because it is the Fool, that other people see that as a foolish step, that every time you reset and, you know, do not pass go, do not collect £200, and you start back on square one, people might see that as being a sort of a negative, foolish step to take. But actually, you never start again from 0. You never start again at square one on its own. You come back to square one with experience, with some, you know, abilities to move forward in a different way. And that is something that's worth having, if that makes sense. We've also got in the advice, we've got the Sun. Now, this is interesting, because it's the Sun for me is all about growth, and it can also represent families, but for me, it's more importantly about growth, because nothing on earth grows without the Sun's energy. Okay, nothing. So we need the Sun for photosynthesis, for the plants, for the oxygen, blah, blah, blah. We are dead in the water without the Sun's energy. And that is something that, okay, Neil, thank you. And that is something that I think quite often we forget. But this is a card of growth, and this is a card of positivity. So it is saying, and again, another major arcana card, you've got 4 in this reading. So it really is saying and shouting at you, stay positive and grow. Find a way to grow from this challenge, this emotional challenge. Find a way to become more resilient. Find a way to become more, not necessarily more stable, but find a way for things not to affect you in the same way. And then the outcome is the High Priestess. Now, you might be thinking, you don't want to be a priestess. You don't want to join a nunnery. That's the whole reason for asking for a love reading. But the High Priestess isn't just about that priestess role. It's about a spiritual connection. It's about finding and valuing experience, and about finding and valuing your own path forward, if that makes sense. And there is obviously a spiritual connection here as well. So there you go, Tracy, my darling. Hopefully that helps. The cards are really saying, look, continue to grow. Continue to grow. Don't worry so much about whether or not someone's going to come in. Maybe this isn't the right time and place with the 10 of Cups here. Maybe this isn't the right time and place for a new big relationship. Maybe a bit of jiggy's fine, but a big relationship right now might not be kind of your best path right now, because it feels like there's some emotional healing to do, and this growth is going to lead to a new, maybe a deeper understanding of your own wants, desires and needs. And a lot of that is going to be led through this idea of compromising, and maybe that is compromising with, you know, finding a way to make peace with your own issues and challenges. But yeah, hopefully, my darling, that makes sense. But that is going to be your reading today. And again, thank you ever so much for your donation. Let me have a look in the live comments. Wow, we got lots of comments in. Let me just find these. Oh, thank you, Neil. Neil put the Wispy link in the chat. Thank you very much. Oh yeah, definitely a delay. Right then, let me have a look. It looks as if, yeah, it looks as if Tracy's got a delay. Refresh your stream, Tracy, my darling. Refresh your stream. Thank you very much. And yeah, the storms have been absolutely horrendous. We've luckily avoided the worst of it here in Leeds. We really have. But I know a lot of the northern parts of England, and also like north of us have got it bad, south of us have got it bad, but where we are, we seem to just be in that sweet spot, fingers crossed, touch wood right now. But yeah, it's not too horrendous. Right then, Pink Pepper, you're up, my darling. Pink Pepper, hopefully. I did wonder what that was then, Patricia, with the caps lock on. I did wonder. Pink Pepper, come and say hello in the live chat. You're the last of our donation readings so far this evening. What is Arnab's feelings about me? Let me have a look. 400. I'm not sure what that is, yen, or I'm not sure what that is, but thank you very much for your donation. Your name is Vinita and you miss Arnab. Okay, my darling, let's have a little look see. You've avoided it in Northamptonshire, but Derbyshire was wild. Wow. Patricia sent me a few videos from where she is in the world. That's rupees. Thank you, my darling. Patricia sent a video of where she is in the world, and the flooding was absolutely horrendous, like over cars and everything. So yeah, I know, right? Obviously, if it's rupees, Pink Pepper, then you Vinita, then you're obviously in India, where I know parts of India have some atrocious flooding. So again, it just puts into perspective just how lucky we are here in the UK not to get the same levels. But right, let me swap across to the other camera. So then, Vinita, let me have a look for you, my darling. There we go. Camera is lined up and your question on screen. There we go. What's Arnab's feelings about you? So again, we're going to bring in Wispy. If you wonder why, by the way, some people have asked why I ring the bell before each reading. It's because the vibrations of the bell ringing clear the messages, if that makes sense. So yes, it clears. Thank you, Holland. It clears those it clears the vibes from the previous one. So yay. Right then, Wispy. Venita is asking, what is Arnab's feelings towards her? What is Arnab feeling about Venita? She misses him, so or they miss him. Let's have a look. Sorry, Pink Pepper. I was Venita. I didn't mean to misgender you. Then I tend to refer to everybody as they, unless I know people's genders. But I didn't in that instance. So sorry about that. What is Arnab's feelings about Venita? That's what we want to know, Wispy. So we're going to do you the. We'll do you the. I tell you what. We'll do the conscious and the subconscious spread, because that's a really. Oh. Face down, Wispy, face down. That's a really good one for getting behind the sort of issues, if you like. So it's a 6-card reading, and the bottom layer is where it gets really interesting with that subconscious. I love this reading. I don't know if it's a standard one. I think it's one that I invented years ago, or I adapted, or it's not one that I've ever seen, but it's one that works for me and for the dragons. Ooh, right. Wispy, 1 card flipped and exited the shuffle on its own. So this is your modifying card. So then the 5 of Swords. What does this mean, Venita? Well, the 5 of Swords. Swords for me is the trouble and strife card. It's challenges, it's obstacles, it's things like that. And the 5 is a card of turmoil and conflict. So I think there's a little bit of miscommunication. I think there are some challenges between you and Arnab right now. So I don't know what the connection has been, but it feels very much like it's sort of the fact that you said you miss him. I think it's almost ended in a really embattled kind of way. Does that make sense? It feels like whatever the disagreement is, or whatever that was, it feels like it's been very, very argumentative at the end, because we've got 3 swords, or in this case these are more like daggers. 3 swords upright, 2 are lying down. So there's a whole element here of positivity and negativity, but it's also really difficult because this looks like a battlefield. So even the positive, even the ones that are in the ground and still standing upright, it's got that negativity here. So it does feel very much like the ending was quite rough. So I'm going to pop that just to one side, and then we'll do it keeps sliding off because this cloth is very it doesn't feel slidey, but it does. Everything keeps sliding down. So then let's have a look. So I'm going to cut your card. I haven't done the cut yet. So right then, Wispy, we're doing the 6th card. So we've got the standard past. Okay, Knight of Cups, present with a 10 of Swords, more swords. Definitely a conflict, and the 6 of Swords moving forward. And then we've got the subconscious cards coming in here as well. So then let's have a look. So this is the conscious, this is what we're aware of, and this is what we're unaware of, some of the things that might lead us to take these actions, if that makes sense. So we've got the Knight of Cups. Now the Knight of Cups is your emotional suit, so that is all about your emotional energy, but what we're sort of necessarily looking at, if that makes sense, is Arnab's feelings towards you. Now it feels like it was probably quite intense for a while because of this Knight of Cups. Now, the Knights of Cups are, again, it's that thing of, teenagers, when teenagers fall in love, they fall in love completely, don't they? Do you know what I mean? It's like when you're young, and again, you can be any age, but when you're young, of course you can be any age. That's a ridiculous thing to say, but you know what I mean. When you're young, when you're a teenager and you've got those first flushes of love, whether it's for a pop band, whether it's for, a crush on a teacher, or a friend or somebody's brother. You know, there's always somebody that you've got a bit of a crush on, or that teenagers generally have a bit of a crush on. Someone's, you know, someone's sister, someone's whoever, right? You have a crush. And then you're like, oh my God, they looked at me. Oh my God. Oh, well, they didn't speak to me in third period, or, you know, oh, Mr. Roberts smiled at me. It means obviously he likes me in that way. Or, you know, in my case growing up, it was, oh, I really want to be with Take That. Oh, Mark Owen is so gorgeous. Oh, Jason Orange. Well, if Mark Owen doesn't want me, I might marry Jason Orange. Oh, no, not Robbie, because I don't think Robbie would be, you know what I mean? So you just have crushes. But that energy is very much Knight of Cups energy, right? It's that feeling of falling deep, falling fast, and it not being sustainable. And so there's an element here that I think the relationship in the past, or whatever this connection was, it was like, it was fairly deep. At least it felt deep at the time. And once it kind of ended, it ended quite quickly as well, with quite a big sort of, I don't know whether it was a big shouty or a big screaming match or something like that, but there was definitely this element of things ending very, very sort of definitively, because in the present we've got the 10 of Swords. Oh, excuse me. Oh, we've got the 10 of Swords coming up in the present, and you heard me say earlier that the 10 of Cups is the overflow. That's the word I'm looking for. But here the 10 of Swords is all about the death of 1,000 cuts, or the death of 10 pins. And it's literally saying that small challenges can be too much to overcome if they all come at once. Do you know what I mean? And I think that this, in this case, in the present position, it's like there's been a lot going on between you, and I don't think Arnab is wanting to go back to this. It feels very much like for him, he's done. Do you know what I mean? Whether that is that he doesn't want to enter back into a relationship with you, whether he's sort of moved on, or whether he's the one that did the dirty, whatever it is, it feels like he's drawn a line in the sand, if you like. And that's echoed here from the 6 of Swords, because again, it's challenges ahead. Now, I think this, in this case, this is sort of more community, and this is you. I think this is more for you than for Arnab, because I think this is about finding a way for you to get support and to be able to move on, because we've got the 6 geese here that are literally, oh, my brain's just completely dropped the word. Migrating, that's the word. So the 6 geese here are migrating forward. Bear with me just 1 second. Oh, sorry about that. I've just got my other half's just cleaned the bathroom, and there's a strong scent coming in that's making my throat a little bit scratchy. But anyway, so the 6 of Swords here in the future is literally about moving forward. Now, I do think there are going to be some issues in you being able to do that, because these swords here are actually almost nails in the boat. And if you look really closely, you can see it again. What did I say about anytime you see water, it's talking about emotions. So I think these are quite negative emotions. But the boat here, look, by the way, yes, I've only got one hand painted because I'm trying out this new nail polish I bought, and I'm trying to see how many coats I need to use before it's like resistant. And obviously you can see this one's all chipped off, and here it's not enough. But anyway, so the water here is filling the boat already, because the boat is leaking. And I think that's just saying that there is going to be a bit of an issue in you moving forward. Wow. So in the past, the Lovers. So I do think that, yeah, I think however you got together, whatever that connection was, I think for the time it was probably quite intense, because the Lovers card is talking about both the physical kind of you being with someone, but also in this deck it's talking about connecting with your higher self, your better self, your shadow self, all of these connections within. And I think that's something that, you know, you felt that connection, and perhaps both of you felt that connection was really deep when it happened. However, it's a bit like excuse me, it's a bit like it's a bit like you fell deep and you fell fast, and then it you know, where you like the candle that burns really bright burns the fastest. It's a bit like that. And then in the present, underneath the surface, so we've got the 8 of Swords, some more swords. I really do not think, looking at this, my darling, that you and Arnab are going to be making any type of coming together again. I don't think there's any type of reconsolidation. What's the word I'm looking for? Repairing the relationship, because the 8 of Swords is reversed, and the 8 of Swords is talking about having a blindfold and the binds lifted, and it's basically talking about finding that truth and not being bound anymore, because you can literally see the scissors are cutting through. Now normally that would be a positive, even though it's a sword, a challenge, but this is reversed. So something has happened somewhere that I think Arnab is now like, absolutely done. I said it here with the 10. The 8 here is backing that up. Absolutely done, my darling. And I think it is more than likely for you. I do think it's time for you to find a way forward, and that way forward, the 6 of Cups. Wow. So I love this spread and I love this deck. So the 6 of Cups, how you move forward, it is going to be a challenge. And how you do it is by bringing in your friends, your family, your support network. Speak to your friends and speak to your like confidants. Speak to them, get their advice, find a way forward, speak to the people you trust, and it will help. It's reversed, so I don't think this is going to be an easy way forward for you. I think all the way through, this 5 of Swords is coming in. I think you've been hurt, but the way forward is absolutely with that community element moving forward. So if you're able to get any counseling, official counseling, that's one way down the road. But having your friends and family around you, speaking to them, you don't have to say that you fell in love with someone and it all ended badly. You can just say you're going through a lot. But if you have got friends that you can talk that openly about this, then seek them out for their advice, and that is going to be the way that you move forward, my darling. Because I really do not feel with these cards, absolutely, I think Arnab has completely moved on, and I'm so sorry to be the person to share that with you, my darling, but I do think it's like that is very clear. I don't think there's any other way to interpret these cards, and I think that, unfortunately, I know it's not what you want to hear, but it is what you need to know, and I do hope that helps. I just am a little bit sorry that I'm the one that has to be the bearer of bad news in this case. But thank you ever so much for your donation, and thank you ever so much for your support. It does mean a lot. So yes, thank you, Vinita, and thank you, Pink Pepper. I love the name. So thank you ever so much for that. I'm going to click on the live. Oh, Crystal Rose, thank you very much, my darling. I've got yours. Has just come in 10 minutes ago. I'll do yours next, so you'll be the next reading up. Let me just have a look at the live chat. Oh, no worries at all, my darling. I hope it works out for you. I really, really do. It does feel Holland playing with Nightbot. What I would say, my darling, is that I think Arnab has moved on. Okay, I really do think Arnab has moved on, and I think for you, my darling, I think that, how can I say? I think that sometimes, right, I don't know how old you are, but sometimes we can, right, let me tell you a brief story, brief tangent, everybody, brief tangent. Right, when I was young, When I was young, I never needed anyone. No, when I was young, I fell in love with somebody that I was at college with, right? Totally in love with him. Totally in love with him. We got together. It was all done in secret. But story time. I know, right? I need an audio thing, don't I? That's like, no, that's not the right one. Nor that. Hang on. Anyway, right? So I fell in love with this guy, and we got together, and it was all done in secret because his parents wouldn't. China, you can donate by super chats, or you can go to buymeacoffee.com/beyond authentic, where you can also, hang on, let me put that one up. Hang on, is it this one? There you go, up there, where you can also look at our memberships. You can queue jump over there as well. But yeah, so Vanita, what I did, I fell in love with this guy, right? His parents wouldn't understand and all of this stuff, so it was kept on the down low. But we were physical a lot, and everything was great. And you know, he was going to reveal his relationship to his parents and everything else, and then it kept getting put off. And I, like an idiot, I listened to all his bullshit, right? And I listened and I waited and I listened and I waited. And I'm not being funny, but when I was younger, I wasn't a catch, you know what I mean? I wasn't a model, but I wasn't bad looking. Do you know what I mean? I wasn't bad looking. I mean, I'm 47 now, and I don't think I'm aging too badly apart from the grey hairs, but I wasn't that bad looking. Do you know what I mean? And so, and I was just as open and loving and warm as I am now, she says, but I was, and it was, it could have been a really healthy relationship for him. However, he decided to not only have a relationship with somebody else behind my back, but also got her pregnant. And I was devastated, but I still loved him, to the extent that when their relationship invariably ended, because as I now know, he's just a dick. But when that ended, we were then talking about co-parenting. So yes, I was completely naive and blinkered, did not even put myself forward enough to say, do you know what? Actually, maybe a guy that is still that is dating somebody else, even when he was with you, dating somebody else who got her pregnant, did all this other stuff. Maybe this guy isn't the best one for you. Maybe you deserve more. But at the time, I love him. I really love him. Now looking back, and now I'm in a healthy relationship. I've been with Rufus for 8 years. I realized that guy was nothing. He was absolutely nothing. Absolutely nothing. And yeah, that's just that. Do you know what I mean? And it's like, you will probably get to that point as well, my darling, where you realize you've had a lucky escape. And although at the time it took me a good few years to come to realize that I was very, very much better off without him in my life, there was a moment where I would have been, co-parenting his son and probably putting up with him dating other people and going off here, there, and everywhere. And I completely blinkered, loved him so much, I would have accepted it. So that is my little story, my darling. Don't do what I did, right? Don't allow yourself to be in that position. When we love someone, sometimes, as Patricia said, sometimes we do need to let them go. And if it's meant to be, they will come back. And that is true. I absolutely believe it. But I do not believe, looking at the cards, my darling, I don't believe Arnab has those feelings for you anymore. If, in fact, he ever did. And I think that's a horrible thing to come to realize. But I do believe, my darling, very, very strongly that you are worth more than him, because that's what I believe, if that makes sense. So yeah, hopefully, my darling, that helps, and best of luck to you, my love. I hope everything gets better, and I hope and I trust that, you know what, you will meet someone that absolutely is right for you. You will meet that special person in life, and you've just got to stay open-minded and open-hearted and get to the point where you are able to love again, because you know that is that, I guess. Anyway, thank you ever so much for your question. Thank you for your donation. Right, so Crystal Rose, my darling, Crystal Rose, you're up. Don't forget, everybody, we will go on to free readings once the once the donation readings. I keep getting bleach smell in the back of my throat. Does that make sense? Like, you know, when you can smell something but you can taste it. Like if you've ever walked into a restaurant. Like, I tell you what, there is an amazing restaurant just on the border between Bradford and Leeds. I can't remember what it's called now, but it's right next to the cinema, and it is amazing. Agra, thank you very much, my brain. It's called Agra, and it's an Indian, all-you-can-eat Indian buffet, and it is amazing. And we used to drive past there 2 or 3 times a week, right? And you just got this wafting scent in the evening of all of the spices and all of the food. And I would literally be in the car as we're going around this giant roundabout, like, oh, it feels like I'm eating a Rogan Josh. It was so lovely. And so, yeah, it's that, but with bleach is what I'm getting at the moment. But anyway, right. Oh, China. Good evening, China. You've sent a request in as well. Not a request, a donation as well, my darling. So I will get to you after Crystal Rose. Thank you ever so much for your donation. Right. Crystal Rose, my darling, your question. You got an unexpected text on your birthday from Nathan. Interesting. What's his feelings about you? Let's have a look at that. I'm just going to take a swig of coffee. While I do that, what have I got that I can play that's only a few seconds? Here, I'm going to play this. No. Hang on. I'll play this one. Right, I'm just swigging my coffee so you don't all hear it. Yes, it is Spooktober. There's lots of Halloweeny videos coming up on the channel. And excuse me. So yeah, keep an eye out for those on the channel. Right then, let me have a little look-see. When was your birthday, Crystal Rose? Wasn't it last week? Was it last week? I can't remember when I was last on. Anyway, let's have a look. So, Crystal Rose, I do. Oh, I've got a thing. Hang on. I could have played this, Crystal Rose. Happy birthday to you, Crystal Rose. Yay! I keep forgetting I made that, but happy birthday, Crystal Rose. I hope it was lovely. Right then, let's swap cameras and let's see what Nathan is thinking. It's all about love tonight, isn't it? It's love, 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 love all the way down. Let's have a look. So then, Wispy, my friend. Lots of love, love, loviness. Love, love, loviness going on. Crystal Rose would like to know, she got an unexpected text on her birthday from Nathan. What's his feelings about her? What is Crystal Rose? No, what's Nathan's feelings about Crystal Rose? That's what we want to know. Let's have a look. Now, do you know what that just did in my head? When I said, let's have a look, my brain went, what is, oh God, see, I've forgotten it. This thing is something, this beat is sick. I want to take a ride on your disco stick. I've got no idea. See, I even forget the lyrics that lead into it. I'm so bad. My ADHD brain. Do you know what I think it is? As the veil lifts, as we get close to Halloween, right? There's so much other sensitive things that my brain is switching into and bits and pieces that I keep picking up on that I think I'm losing. I'm losing the part of my brain that remembers song lyrics. I don't know if that's a thing. Is that a thing? where your brain gets a bit more forgetful as Halloween comes close. If you're a sensitive, I don't know, but we're going to have a look. We're going to ask the cards. Oh, we got a low drop there, Crystal Rose, and we're going to do. I tell you what, shall we do? I'm loving these six card readings, these, because I think they're quite intense. So we'll do the same thing. The past, the present, and the future with Nathan. Oh, excuse me, sorry. I didn't catch that in time to mute the microphone then, sorry. And the subconscious. Lots of money. Why is money? Did you work with Nathan? Is there a work connection, a career connection, Crystal Rose? Because this is all money. This top layer is all money. So hang on, I tell you what, let me click back onto the live chat. No, right. I don't know what this is then. Right, let's have a look. We'll have a look. Right, let me click back onto the other chat, onto the starred chat. There we go. Right, so the Five of Pentacles. So this is talking about milestones, right? So in the past, I don't know whether, were you together? Was there a relationship here? Because it's almost like you reached a certain point and then didn't go any further. Do you know what I mean? It's like whether that is not crossing that line or you crossed the line but then decided it wasn't for you. There's something here about reaching a particular point and then not going on to the next one because maybe the weather got bad, the metaphorical weather got bad, and it meant that wasn't a path you wanted to tread anymore. Because it really does feel like, whereas a lot of times this card is a marker for having reached a certain goal and moving on to the next ones, and this is just a placeholder, it doesn't feel like that here. Sorry, it feels very much like you kind of reached the point of, I don't want to say no return, but it kind of feels like it wasn't long lasting. Do you know what I mean? It was like you went a mile, you didn't go into mile 2, mile 10, mile 20. Do you know what I mean? And it feels, again, fives are all about upheaval and turmoil. So I do think you got to a certain point and then that was that, right? I don't know if that makes sense. The present, what you need to know here is that this card, right? Again, you're asking about what Nathan's feelings are. So I think that he was kind of okay with everything getting to that point. And then here with this 4, it's like he's looking for some sort of stability, right? Or financial kind of kickback. So I don't know whether there's a financial element. If this isn't finances, and you said you don't work together, then this could be like the amount of effort and work that's put in. So it could be because you reach this particular milestone, it could be that he's never reached that milestone with anybody else. It could be that he's never, like, it's an easy save point in a video game. Do you know what I mean? So it's like you reach that save point, and then if your character in a video, I'm acting as if you've never played a video game before, but just in case you haven't, right? It's like you've reached a certain point in the game, you've got a save point, you've saved your progress, and then you move forward to the next baddie, and then that baddie kills you. At least you can go back to this save point. So it could almost be something like that, because coming up straight after the 5, that's the first thing that my brain is thinking of with this 4, because it's like, oh wow, at least you've got a save point. Do you know what I mean? It's like, and this stability here, I do think is something that it's something that he's looking for, because the 4s for me are all about table legs, chair legs, keeping things on a level keel, and I think that's something that's quite important. Now there are even though, again, this deck is so intuitive, right? Even though the main tree is being chopped down, there are shoots of hope. Shoots of hope. So I don't know whether Nathan was just, do they say shoot your shot? Does that make sense? Whether he was just like throwing it out there to see what would happen, right? Literally sending a text to see whether you would respond and how you would respond. Because it could be that you'd go, oh, delete, block, or it could be that you go, thank you very much. I got a gift voucher to Costa for my birthday. Would you like to come for coffee with me? Or maybe it was like I got a gift voucher for Victoria's Secrets. Would you like to come and, you know, see me model what I'm going to buy? Do you know what I mean? And it's like, it's almost like he's putting that out there just to see if he's casting his rod. Not like that. He's casting his rod and seeing if you bite. Do you know what I mean? Oh, sorry. Just coughing up a lung. But yeah, that's very much what that feels like. It's like he's seeing the lay of the land almost. The Seven of Pentacles, though, I think he's got some difficult decisions, and this might also be where you've got some difficult decisions, because the Seven is reversed. So I think this is more about, although your question, it's really bizarre because your question is about him, I think this is about you because of that reversal. So I think you've got some difficult decisions. So whatever happened here, however it ended, it's like you've got to decide where you want to go forward, because literally this is like, do you spend time pruning this plant and looking after it for the long term, overwintering it, blah, 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 or do you just pluck the pentacles off it, dig it up, chuck it on the compost heap? Do you know what I mean? Either way, it's work. One level of work, prune it really hard, take the fruit off it, hurrah, let it go. But you still got to dig it up. The other one, overwinter it. Well, that means you've got to cut it down. You've got to put the fleece around it, everything else. So he's talking about these difficult decisions that you've got to face. And that's something that I think is like, you're the only one that can decide with this difficult decision. But I tell you what we'll do. We'll have a look here. Oh, in the subconscious, we've got the most subconscious card of the subconscious, if that makes sense. We've got the moon. And the moon traditionally is talking about getting in touch with your subconscious. So whatever this was, I think that you instinctively know that this didn't go anywhere for a reason, right? Because the in this card, and the reason I'm saying that, and I think he knows that as well, is because it's almost like the text was a test of a booty call, because this is talking about getting in touch with your intuition, getting in touch with that spiritual side, maybe doing some navel gazing, looking inward, all of this. But this is reversed, which means it's like, I don't think he's thought about what went wrong or what happened or anything else. I think it's just, oh, I'll send Crystal Rose a text, and then, you know, if she's got a Victoria's Secret voucher, then maybe, if she's up for it, then maybe. It's almost that vibe I get. You've got Temperance as well. Right. He's looking to try and make peace. So I do think this idea of stability, I think it's kind of an easier option for him, right? And I hate to say that, because you've been on this channel enough for me to know I do not think in any way you should be anybody's easy option, right? That is not fair or valid, right? You should not be someone's second choice or someone's easy option. Absolutely fucking not, right? No. The normal Temperance, you've seen me show it a load of times, has got the angelic figure pouring the water. This figure isn't as angelic, and it's very clear between this sort of dirt-ridden, polluted beach and the sea. It's like you've got a foot in both camps. But this is very much about making do and compromising and finding ways through. I don't think this is what you want to be doing, right? You don't want to settle. There's a reason you got to mile 1 and didn't go any further. Do you know what I mean? But I think for him, it's like, oh, well, you know, maybe if it's her birthday, maybe she's out with friends and she's a bit pissed, and then, you know, we can hook up later. I think that's pretty much all it was. Yeah, Queen of Cups. You know this. You friggin' know. I mean, apart from the fact I think this looks like me in a couple of years' time. But you know this. You know what I'm saying. This is like I'm expecting any minute to look at the live comments and then just to all be yes, 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 because you know this. The Queen of Cups is saying, like, you intuitively, you deserve more in terms of, so maybe this isn't a difficult decision, maybe it's a relatively easy decision, but there was a bit of difficulty in terms of it could be better this time, wishful thinking, but you know this because the Queen of Cups is that nurturing energy and loving energy, and this for you is not this. Do you know what I mean? It's like if he's looking for something from you, it isn't necessarily because you are the love of his life. It's more because it's easy. And I think for you, like, you know what you need to do, you know where you need to head, and this Queen of Cups, like, I think you're asking me the question for confirmation rather than anything else. In all honesty, I think that's what it is, because the more times that Wispy brings this up, and I more say the more times I say it reminds me of me, the more times he brings it up in that context. Do you know what I mean? So yeah, I hope that helps, my darling. I really, 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 really do. Listen, you shouldn't be anybody's second choice. Don't be anybody's compromise, right? If they don't want you for you, fuck them, but don't. Do you know what I mean? It's like, it's not worth it. Yes, but he made you smile. That's good then. He made you smile. Great. He made you smile. Great. That's good. Have a lovely smile. That doesn't mean you should go and bang him. Do you know what I mean? It doesn't mean you should open your heart to him again. He made you smile. That's a good thing. And yay, thank you for that. And maybe you could be friends and see where things go in the future and blah, 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 blah. But absolutely, with that temperance coming in, it feels like you're his compromise. I wouldn't compromise for him. Are you? I didn't know you were a tarot reader. Interesting. He was grieving, then it went wrong. So if you were... See, that adds some nuance to it, because if it was a relationship that was built around the grief, then it's almost like that Queen of Cups makes more sense, because it's not so much then that it's me, because, you know, it's me, and the problem is me. It's not that. It's that element of that nurturing, loving side that he is almost, it's almost like he needs that from you. Do you know what I mean? If you helped him through some grief, then it's almost like that is where he's coming from. But either way, it doesn't look like he wants a relationship with you. It looks like it looks like he wants that nurturing, loving connection, if that makes sense. Right. Absolutely. He lost 3 people in a few months. It feels then like it was, I don't take this the wrong way, my darling, but in a marriage of convenience, a relationship of convenience, right? It feels like he needed some support and help during those tough times, and you offered that. And then when that was done, he was done. And now if he's texting you, it might be that he feels guilty, although that didn't come up in the cards. It feels much more booty call, stroke. I need some emotional. I need someone that will listen to me. Get a bloody counselor. You know what I mean? Like, you're not his counselor. You could be his girlfriend, but you're not his counselor. You know what I mean? I wouldn't settle for that, my darling. But anyway, hopefully that helps. And yeah, I hope that helps. But thank you ever so much for the donation, and thanks for the question. And again, happy birthday for the other day. Right then, China, my darling. China, you are up next. This is the last of the super chat. So if you're watching this, waiting for me to launch a live round, that sounds wrong, but you know what I mean. If you're wanting me to open up a round for a live reading, if nobody else super chats during this reading, then we'll do that in about 10 or 12 minutes time. Okay, so if you would like a reading, stand by and I'll open up the free rounds after this. Right then, China, my darling, what is this conversation? Oops. Oh, thank you, Rufus. Oh, is that my dinner? Yeah. Oh. I know, right? Tiny portions. Rufus just made dinner for the ratties. They've got sprouts and carrot sticks for their dinner. Nice. Right, China, are you still here, my darling? Hopefully you're still here. You haven't gone anywhere. Just let me know in the live chat that you are still around in the comments, just so that I know. If not, I mean, I can do it in absentia. It's a good word, that. It's a good legal word, isn't it? It's good legal words. I know, right? Anyone would think I watch a lot of legal stuff on the YouTubes. Patricia, no, but funny, but no. but funny. Let me have a look. China's here. Fantastic. Right then, China. So I'm going to bring the camera back in. And so, Wispy, good evening. Once again, Wispy, where are we going? Where are we going? Every time it moves, it's a different position. Why is that like that? There we go. Right then. So, China would like to know, what is this conversation Trippy wants to have with me? So, Wispy, what is this conversation that Trippy wants to have with China? Let's have a look. Right, we're going to do the 7-card horseshoe, because this is a little bit more ambiguous, if that makes sense. Hang on, was there a card? Did I just have a card upside down, or was it? Yes, there was. Right, that doesn't count because that's probably down to me. Let me just, nothing else the wrong way around. Right, fantastic. What is the conversation Trippy wants to have with China? That's, Wispy. Stop doing it with multiple cards. If you need one to drop, have one drop. God's sake, you've been doing this long enough, Wispy, my friend. Here, look, let's just stroke the dragon crystal. We'll just stroke the dragon crystal. There you go. Look, give you a little nozzle spout. Nozzle spout? That makes no sense. A little nostril rub. There we go, Wispy. There we go, my friends. There you go. Lovely, lovely, lovely. Happy dragons. Good Lord. The things you have to do to get tarot readings. I know, right? Let's go for it. So, there we are. Look, now they're shuffling nicely. What is the conversation that Trippy wants to have with China? What could it be about? What could it be about? Right. Nothing flipped. So let's go for it. We're going to do your cuts. I always say, if you were here in person, you'd be the one shuffling and cutting the cards, but you're not. So I do it for you. So then, ooh. 10 of Swords in the past. What's happened? What's happened? Lovers in the present. 10 of Pentacles in the influence. Hang on, let's move these down slightly. See, the whole idea of having this one with the, there we go, with the lines was that I could put these on the lines, you see. The obstacle is the 2 of Cups with the Lovers. Okay. Oh, I guess it's this Lovers, isn't it? It's not the standard Lovers. Interesting. And Judgment. Right. Okie dokie. So, what's your connection with Trippy, China? Is it a romantic connection that was? Can you just let me know the context in the live chat? I'll hang on the live chat screen for a couple of seconds, because the reason I'm asking is that in the past position, we've got the 10 of Swords. Now, Swords is challenges and obstacles, and this is a very, very distinct card of an absolute shit show of an ending, basically, because as I said earlier, the 10s are overflowing. So we've got another 10 here. The 9 for me is when things reach their peak, and the 10 is when things overflow. Now, Swords, this card is almost saying that the two of you had such a bad, I was about to say, look at that. Right. Thank you. So it is a romantic connection, because I can say this looks like such a bad ending to a relationship that actually, like, you ended up blocking each other. You ended up literally almost involving police and things like that. I don't think it quite went that far, but it's like it ended so severely that I don't think there's a way. I don't think there's an easy way back, because this 10 is like, this isn't just distrust or you don't like each other. This is almost like pure hatred that came up in the past. So yeah, I think, again, as much as we love people, when they hurt and destroy our emotions, we can feel that as strong negatively as well. And I think that that's what this card is reflecting. Now, that also makes sense of why the Lovers is coming up in the present. I don't think it's that Trippy wants to engage in a relationship again, although oh, hang on, it could be because we've got the two reversed. Right, hang on a second. I'm trying to move I'll tell you what, if I move the camera up, there you go. Now you can see everything a bit clearer, a bit more gooderer. Right, there you go. If I move that over there. Right, hopefully you can see all the cards, because we've got the present, we've got the Lovers, right? Now, this deck, normally the Lovers doesn't actually refer to two people in a romantic relationship. It doesn't normally mean that. Normally the Lovers card in this deck is talking about maybe a relationship with your darker self, your shadow self, looking at all of those issues that we all carry around with us. You know, why we do certain things that don't seem to be in our own best interest. All of that is what this card normally relates to. But having said that, it can also just be the Lovers. So if that is what Trippy is wanting, if maybe that they do want to have a relationship with you, if they do want to somehow get back together, put things behind you, all of that jizzy jazz, then it could be that that's what they want. But hold off, because there's an interesting twist here, right? So that could be the meaning. Whether or not you should go down that road or not, we'll come to. But it could well be that is the meaning, because again, the standard Lovers card, I mean, it's probably one of the most well-known cards in the deck, where you've got this image of two people kissing and canoodling. Sometimes it's Romeo and Juliet. Sometimes it's like, I've even seen Napoleon and Josephine and all sorts of different, you know, there's star-crossed lovers throughout history, I guess, have been depicted. So yeah, it could be that he's wanting to reconnect in a romantic way. Now, the influence, the Ten of Pentacles. Pentacles is work, career, finances, and the amount of effort in something. So I don't know whether there's a money effort, a money connection, whether you work together here, or whether there's something around some sort of joint, I don't know, a joint bank account would be the thing, but there's something here around a financial connection or a financial need. Maybe he's going to ask to borrow some money. I don't know, but there's definitely something here, work, career, finances related, right? And it's coming up in the influence. So it's almost like if he's been kicked out by his most recent partner. I say he, I don't know what what Trippy's pronouns are, but if they've been kicked out by their most recent partner, right, and they're now about to be homeless, it's almost like, well, I'll give China a ring because China can take me in, and then blah 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 blah, go live with China. And it could be something like that. So just bear that in mind with whatever this conversation is. It definitely is a big need is driving this for either money or financial stability in some way. Now, this is the obstacle card, and this is the card I was pointing towards, the Two of Cups. This is reversed. Now, this is why I got a little bit, is it a romance? Is it not? Because the Lovers here, if this was upright, right, then you've got a romantic connection in the present, but that romantic connection is the challenge. However, it's not. It's because they broke up. Whatever happened in the past, like, those issues are still there. All of these swords are still there, right? They're all still there. They haven't been resolved. Whatever it was that broke things up are still going on. So if Trippy was a player, that's still happening. If maybe you weren't ready to commit, then that's still there as well. Do you know what I mean? And this obstacle, this connection, whatever that connection is, whatever these knots were that bound you together in the past, that is still going to be there. That problem is still going to be there in a future one. So it's almost like if you were to pick up where you left off, you're picking up all those problems as well. So just be aware of that, because it does feel like there's some, let's go back to where we were. Let's, oh, I really miss you and I wish we could be back here. There's something going on here with that. The way people see you as a soft touch. I hate to say that, but like Temperance is talking about, and again, Temperance has popped up various times in today's readings, but Temperance is normally talking about finding a way through, finding a mutually acceptable compromise, finding a negotiated step forward. But the way other people see you, like the downside of that is easily rolled over and actually saying, no, I did, my red line or my line in the sand would be that, I don't want any children. And it's almost like them saying, well, actually, I want 4. So if you just have 2 kids, that's a compromise. It's like, no, I don't want any. But people don't see that. They see it as if you're always going to people please and always going to compromise on your red lines, on your lines in the sand. So yeah, just be really aware of that, because it means that it's almost like Trippy can roll you over and basically ride roughshod over what you want, because you're easily manipulated somehow. Now the advice, the Knight of Wands, right? So this is to be a bit rebellious. Think about your own sense of security and that sort of teenage element here. So think about how when you're a teenager, you've got that sort of, you can have that swagger that isn't really there, even if you're not feeling it. Do you know what I mean? It's easy to fake. But also, shut up. Also, look here with the skateboard. Movement. Move on. This might not be the time for you to have deep, long, meaningful conversation. Obviously, have a phone call, but actually bear in mind that you might want to skedaddle, have an exit plan from the phone call even. Do you know what I mean? And in the outcome from all of this, it's the same character as in the Temperance card, right? The same character, except now they're representing judgment. Now, this isn't justice. This isn't about having things work out and, getting your just desserts and all of that. This is about, at the end of days, right? When the time comes, how are you going to see this relationship or see this connection? Because the Judgment card is literally saying, look, it's almost a white flag, right? It's the card is literally based on the Rider-Waite-Smith idea of the dead being called up to heaven to the day of judgment to look. And again, this is one of those cards, if you and Trippy ended this badly and you knowingly go back into it, you can't then say to your friends, well, I didn't know what Trippy was like. You can't say that because you know it. Do you know what I mean? It's like you can't say, but I didn't realize, I didn't think it would go that way, because literally, like, you've been there, done that, bought the t-shirt, and so you will be judged. You will have that element of, what the hell were you thinking? Do you know what I mean? And it's like, whatever that means, whatever that connection is, it's one of those things which is like, you've had your fingers burned and yet you're going back and playing with fire again. Does that make sense? Hopefully, my darling, hopefully, China, that makes sense. But yeah, that is going to be your reading for today. And again, it's you make all your own decisions about your own life. I say it every single time, but just be aware. Just be aware. Sometimes an X is an X is an X for a reason. Do you know what I mean? But with that, my darling, I'm going to say thank you ever so much for your donation, and thank you ever so much for your question. And that is your reading for today. So yay, thank you for being here. Right then, I think that is all. Let me just have a look over at Buy Me a Coffee on the dashboard, just to see if anybody has queue jumped over there. I don't think so. Nope. So, and that looks like the last one that's come in, the last super chat that's come in. So then it's time to throw your hat in the ring, to throw your name in the hat if you would like a free tarot reading. So the free tarot readings are 3-card readings, and as I say, it is done completely by chance. How do you get a free 3-card reading on this channel? It's dead easy. All you need to do is put your question into the live chat, starting with the words question, and then that will come through on the system, and I will pick one of those at random. If you don't want to, no problem, China, thank you very much. If you don't want to risk it for a biscuit and you want to guarantee your reading, the only way to do that is to do it via a super chat, or by going over here to Buy Me a Coffee, where you can in fact do a queue jump. So then it's on the ticker tape below. We're opening the first free round of the evening. This is going to be probably our last tarot reading as well tonight. So if you do want a reading, a free reading, this is going to be your only chance for that. If you want to guarantee the last spot, then go ahead and send your question via a super chat. But this is going to be it for tonight. So go ahead, put your question in the live chat now, starting with the word question, or send a super chat. That's how you get one on this channel. Okay, let's have a look. Let's have a look. Right then. So, okay, let me go. So we go from here. Right. So let's have a look. Right. Give me 2 seconds. This is going to be, oh, hang on. Is somebody asked a medical question? Thank you, Patricia. Let me have a look. L Loves, unfortunately, I can't answer that question, my darling. I can't answer that question. There's a reason for that, right? There's a couple of reasons. The first one is that I'm not medically trained, right? And so I don't want to give you false hope by having the tarot cards come up and say something that I interpret in a positive way, and that actually it turns out that, you know, you're not free of endometriosis. Or likewise, I don't want to have a card that comes up that looks negative and for me to say, no, it's going to get worse, blah, blah, blah. And for that to then impact your life in that way as well. I'm not a doctor. I'm not medically trained. I don't know your medical history. I don't know your family medical history, all of that. And so I can't answer that type of question, my darling. So I wish you nothing but the very, very best. I know that endometriosis is a bloody awful thing to deal with. Members of my family have had to go through that. And I know all the, well, I don't know all, but I know some of the issues that causes. But that isn't a question that I'm afraid that I can actually answer. But yeah, thank you ever so much for being here. And I'm sorry that I'm unable to answer that question. Right then, let me just have a look then. So apart from that one, let's go. We're going to go with, let's go for it. Uppy downy, uppy downy, uppy downy, uppy downy, uppy downy. We're going with this one. Oh, hang on. Let me star it, put it in the starred box because it comes up blue, white writing on blue, which means it's easier for me to read. Question mark. That's fine. Any good coming my way relationship wise? Anything good coming your way relationship wise? Okay, my darling, we'll have a look at that for you. Loo-hoo, good evening, my darling. I didn't see you there, my darling. I hope you're well. I didn't say hello to you earlier. Also, Scorpio 1180, good evening to you. I don't think I said hello to you when you came in. I was probably on a reading. That's probably why. Oh, China, yes, true. Oh, thank you, China. Thank you. No worries, my darling. I hope that that helped. Right then. So, Keisha. Oh, hang on. There's a different question. Right. Okay. Yep. That makes more sense. I get it. I get it. So then, Keisha, let's have a look. Is there anything coming my way relationship wise? Okay. We'll have a look at that for you. Rashmi Singh, good evening to you as well, my darling. This is the last reading for tonight. But good evening. You're very welcome here. By the way, everybody, if you haven't already, ding your bell so that YouTube notifies you when we go live. My next live session will be on Tuesday evening at 7 p.m. UK time. And I am thinking about bringing in another day. I know, right? The mods are thinking, oh my God, no, Lisa, no more. I am thinking about adding a third live stream to the channel. I'm thinking about it. So make sure you do ding your bell and change the settings to all. If you want to know full details of what's happening behind the scenes on the channel, so do I, because I don't know what the bloody hell I'm doing one week to the next generally. But if you want videos a day early, like chances to influence what I do and things like that, our memberships are over here at buymeacoffee.com/Beyond Authentic. Also, make sure you are here in 9 days' time on Halloween, October 31st. There will be a giveaway on this channel, so make sure you stick around for that. So then let's have a look. Oh no, would help if I move the camera into place before I swap to it, wouldn't I? Right then, so Keisha, I love that name, by the way. It's one of the names that I hadn't heard of for the long time here in the UK until like probably last 10 years. I think it's or maybe last 20 years, but I think it's such a lovely name, Keisha. It just sounds, I don't know, it just rolls off the tongue really nicely. Do you know what I mean? It's like some names like Lisa, it hasn't got quite, I know what you're going to say. Lisa and Keisha sound similar, but it hasn't got that same roll to it. Keisha just sounds, I don't know, it just sounds nice. Anyway, enough about me blabbering on. Wispy, my darling. So Keisha Williams would like to know, is there anything good coming their way relationship wise? Is there any lovely relationships coming for Keisha? Is there any romance, any boom chicka wow, any dingly dinglies in the dangly danglies section, you know, anything like that? Is there anything coming Keisha's way? So, you know, Wispy, one card has to flip on the table if you want me to read it as a clarifying. Do you know, I was doing this on for one of the members. We've got a member that's paid for a yearly subscription at the highest level, which means she gets a monthly 10-card reading. I actually did two readings for her today. But one of the cards, right, flipped upside down with a second card, and I said to Wispy, nope, you know the rules. If you want a card to flip, it's got to come out of the pack and it's got to be face up, right? So I said that, carried on shuffling, and then the same card flipped and was here on the desk. The same card. I was like, oh, okay. Oh, okay. Oh, it was interesting. It's fascinating. You haven't got a clarifying card, Keisha, so that's not a problem. And let's have a little look-see. Here we go. So then, Wispy, what is coming Keisha's way in terms of relationships, if anything? Is there anything romantic coming? Oh, where you are now. Wheel of Fortune. What you need to know. Oh, maybe we've got a 2. So maybe, Keisha, maybe. And Judgment reversed. Right. Okay. Maybe. You've got, out of 3 cards, you've got 2 major arcana cards. So first of all, what is the major arcana? So the major arcana are the shouty cards, the big headline cards, if you like, the big shouty cards. Now the Wheel of Fortune is a really interesting card because it talks about risk and not risk and responsibility, risk and reward. Okay, so this is where you are now. So I do think there is almost like could there be more than one person that you're interested in at the moment, or could there be more than one connection that could reignite itself, perhaps? Because it's almost like there's a bit of a choice to be made. So that sounds interesting. So if there is something here, right, then just be aware that actually risk and reward are linked. So yes, there could be. Oh, I've got a doggo that's just coming to see me. Hello, Elvie. Yes, I know. Mummy's just finishing up. Yes, I am. Mummy's just finishing up. Good girl. Good girl. So it could be that there is something here, and maybe if you've got somebody, or if there's a couple of people that you're kind of like, oh, maybe I like you, maybe I don't, then maybe it's time to spin the wheel. Just be aware that that wheel of fortune could be positive and or negative. Does that make sense? It could be positive and or negative. So it could well be that you end up spinning that wheel, and one of the, I don't know, say if hang on, what's the judgment? Say if, hang on, there we go. I'm just getting the next video lined up for this one. So say if, right, if there are, I don't know, there's probably not going to be, but if you got like 4 interested people that represent the 4 elements, right? So instead of people, we'll just talk about the elements, right? So there's 4 elements involved. So we've got earth, air, water, and fire, right? And if you spin this wheel, it's going to land on one of those 4 elements. You don't know where because you're blindfolded, right? So this card is literally talking about, this is where it's almost like you spin that wheel and whatever lands, you're going to go with, right? So if you land on air, that's going to be fantastic. However, if you're actually, I don't know, if you're really thirsty, then air won't bring in the water element, and you're not going to be as warm because there's not going to be any fire, and there's not going to be any earth, so there's not going to be any growth and finances. But you'll have lots of ideas, and you know, maybe some issues going on because air is linked in with swords, so you'll have maybe some obstacles to overcome, things like that. However, you could land on the fire, which is great because then you'll be nice and warm. But the downside of the fire is that it also comes, so this would be wands, it also comes with a whole bunch of insecurity, a whole bunch of lack of confidence. So it's almost like whatever you land on will have its own negatives. But also in terms of relationships, if you are looking at maybe more than one person, I don't mean to say that in a way that makes it sound like there is no judgment here, right? So I don't know whether that makes it sound like there's more than one person in mind or more than one person courting you. But if there is something where you're like, you know, maybe I could ask, I don't know, maybe I could ask this person out, or maybe I could ask that person out. Why not ask them both out and see what happens? Like, go for coffee with one and then go for coffee with the other the next day. Doesn't mean you have to do anything. They doesn't mean you have to bump uglies or any smoochies or anything like that. You could just get to know these people a little bit better, and you go, right, okay, so on Monday I'm going out for coffee with you, and on Tuesday I'm going to go out for coffee with this one, and then Wednesday I'm going to go out for coffee with the first one again, and then Friday, actually, do you know what? I want to go out for coffee with the first one again. Do you know what I mean? It's like you'll get to know if there's more than one option. That's what I'm getting with this card, is that there is more than one option, particularly in this spread. Where you are now, what you need to know. So this is where you are now. What you need to know, 2 of Pentacles. So Pentacles is connected here to this earth element, right? So 2, I think there could be maybe an opportunity where there's maybe 2 people interested, or if right, there is, hang on, this is going to go weird, right? Go with me. There is a saying in detectives when they're looking for murder victims, follow the money, right? I would not normally say that in terms of romance, but follow the money, right? Follow the money. I don't know why, Patricia. I'm not on that screen. Give me a chat. Give me a sec. So follow the money. So if there's an element where, you know, somebody's in the workplace, like with somebody you work with, right? In that case, that might be the best bet, or somebody you study with, or somebody that you are financially kind of linked with somehow, right? So it could be, I don't know, it could be that you work in a big office and you're both in the same lottery pool together with like 3 or 4 of you, but one of those people you've got an interest in, right? We'll call that person David, right? For instance, say you've got an interest in David from the lottery pool at work. However, there's also Barbara over here who you see every day at Starbucks, because Barbara is a barista in Starbucks. Again, I'm making no thingy about anybody's gender or sexuality. They're just examples, right? So Barbara's over here and you see Barbara every day and you see her in her job and you've got an interest in Barbara as well. And then over here, we've got Nick, who's non-binary. And you know Nick from playing rugby or football together, and you've got an interest in Nick as well, right? So that will be this element of multiple people. Well, of those 3, sport isn't financial, Starbucks isn't financial, but did I say it was Dave? Dave, who you're in the lottery syndicate at work with, that would be what you need to know. So look at Dave. And then the opportunity that comes in, we've got judgment. So again, judgment is this idea of, at the end of days, when you are judged for your actions and your deeds, can you hold your head up? Forget about the angels and the biblical element. Can you hold your head up and say that you've done right by yourself and you can back up your actions, right? If you can, then go with it, because the opportunity here is to kind of not fear judgment. So it's almost saying, right, I don't know why I've got this strongest element. I mean, I don't know whether you believe in flaming heck, polygamy. Like, you could date all of them, Barbara, Nick and Dave. Why not? Why not date them, see which one, not necessarily get into serious, you know, relationships with all of them, but why not? And then if you do actually end up over like the next couple of months, you find yourself getting really into Barbara, then have that relationship become the serious one, or whatever. You know what I mean? There's no reason why you have to only ever date one person. You can date a couple of people as long as it doesn't get serious and you don't get these emotions and expectations tied in. But I do think this opportunity of not being judged and not judging yourself, I think just go with whatever feels right. Okay. So, and if there isn't, here's an option I didn't even consider. I was going to say, if there isn't a potential suitor, well, to be honest, if there isn't, then I've got no idea what this would relate to, because the way that the Wheel of Fortune has come up, to me, I can't see that being anything else, if that makes sense. But anyway, hopefully, please don't be offended, by the way, if you are 100% monogamous. And sorry, I've just dropped something down on my floor. If you are somebody that is 100% monogamous and there isn't actually anybody in the there's nobody that you're interested right now, then this could all be relating to the future to come. So yeah, just bear that in mind, because it could well be that actually, you know, in the next few weeks or the next couple of months, it could well be that there are going to be some people coming into your life that maybe you are a little bit more interested in. And again, just bear that in mind. Right, let's have a look at the comments. Hang on, what? Hang on. James, Eugene, Eddie, and Dwayne. Is that people that you're interested? Is that people you're interested in? Because I said 4. Okay. Yeah, I didn't. So when I'm doing the readings, I'm on a different screen, so I don't see the comments coming up. Okay, well, if there are 4, follow the money. Follow if there's somebody that you are working with or studying with that is sort of that is linked in that way, then go with that. But absolutely, there's no reason why you couldn't like go for coffee with all of them and see how you get, like, not together, but go for coffee with all of them and see how you get on. Like, if these are people you know though in real life, then yeah, they're interested in you. Then maybe go along, maybe go ahead and I wouldn't do any of that. No moving, absolutely not. This is where you need to try before you buy, if that makes, not in a physical way, because unless you want to, but get to know the people first. That's what I would advise, because quite often people show you their best self, especially on the internet, right? People show you their best self. There's a reason why I have this room like this amount of space on the thing, because over in that corner there's a mess, so I don't show you that corner. This is what you see. There's a reason why I've got a cover on this stuff that's in storage behind, because it looks messy. And again, it's not 100% reality, so again, bear that in mind, my darling. Also also be aware what people say, because quite often people can say all sorts and they don't necessarily mean it, or they mean it at the time, they don't necessarily mean it 5 months, 5 years later, if that makes sense. But I wouldn't move if you're not certain about being with James. I would not move anywhere. In fact, with any of these people, if you're not certain of which one you fancy or which one you want to go with, I wouldn't go with any of them. I would maybe just keep it on the down low, keep it really quiet, keep it on the sort of friend basis. We're just going out for coffee and get to know each other, and then decide. And then it may well be that one of these guys or one of these people, you think, oh my God, I really, really like them because XYZ. Or it could be you don't like any of them, and actually somebody else comes your way and floats your boat. And that would be the option for that. So yeah, that would be my advice, my darling. But anyway, that is going to be your reading for today. And thank you ever so much for asking the question. But anyway, right, that's it, everyone. We've gone 10 minutes over. Bloody hell. Sorry, mods. We've gone 10 minutes over, so apologies for that. But this has been an amazing stream today. I've absolutely loved it. Thank you ever so much for everybody who asked questions. Thank you for the donations, and thank you for everyone that has come on and joined us for the live stream. And yeah, as I always say, thank you so much for being here. Stay you, stay true, stay authentic. And again, I could not do what I do without the amazing mods. So thank you very much to my mods, and thank you to my subscribers, the members over here at buymeacoffee.com/Beyond Authentic, and of course to everyone for watching. Take care, and I will see you on Tuesday evening at 7 p.m. By the way, tomorrow's video will be one of these deck reviews. It will be coming up live tomorrow at, I think, 1 o'clock in the afternoon. It might be 2, but ding your bell so that YouTube notifies you. And with that, I'm going to say thank you ever so much, and I'm going to play out the thank yous.